Folks, if you are looking to get a big pile of jade and get back into Grand Cathay, then you're in the right place. HeirofCarthage here, and we're going to continue the Yuan Bo campaign, and boy do we have a lot going on across multiple continents. I have been able to secure some allies, and I am also working to secure the Cathayan mainlands. We've got to still get rid of some Druki raiders, and we've got to get rid of an angry croc who is gator golfing his way through our territory. So we're going to have to take care of him. And we've got a lot to do. In fact, I'm going to start right here with Patchy. Now, some of you, just to remind you what we're working on here strategically, I'm trying to unite Cathay on the one hand, and then on the other hand, I've got Yuan Bo in the New World. He is headed to the Great Turtle Isles in Lustria so that we can build the next building that's required to power up the compass. That's how you get the victory conditions with Yuan Bo. Obviously, I want to try and bankroll and keep everything safe with the giant holding in Cathay. It also allows me more trade and other access, so it should be good, and it allows me all of those nice caravans as well. Endurance War, let's go ahead and roll that there. And then this is for Patchy the Celestial General here. I haven't put any extra skill points in. I might go into Quartermaster. We're starting to burn through our extra money here, so Quartermaster will become more important. I like getting to that just to start reducing the cost of the upkeep in my armies, which kind of helps counteract some of the supply lines penalties that you get. So see, like right here, army upkeep increases every time you get a new army. We got a lot of additional armies, and so it's costing us an additional almost 4,000 gold per turn to maintain those armies. And there are some tricks we can use. I have been building certain buildings at these gatehouses. You can actually see it right here. So you can keep armies in those specific positions. You might be saying, well, Eric, why are you not doing that? I can't do it this turn because I need to wait for this gate to be able to kind of hold its own before backups get involved. And then I had to move this army away from the wall to come help out with old Croxigor here, Nakai the Wanderer, aka the Gator Golf Tour champion. So we're going to have to deal with him, and then it looks like, meanwhile, I am nearly ready to take out the Great Turtle Isle here with Rakarth, so we should be able to go ahead and fight this. I'm not terribly worried about it. They do have some crossbows. Let's go ahead and just fight. We'll jump into this one. Let's get our deployment started here. I'm going to let you all see how I choose to deploy. I typically look for the spot where I'm going to be least impacted by towers. This is actually a pretty good spot here on this map. It's kind of an odd one, but this is going to allow me to deploy some unit here and not really have to worry about these towers. So towers are going to do a whole lot of freebie damage to you on behalf of the owning faction. You can use these trees and other things to help mask units, but like for instance, I can keep some units over here out of the way near the blind spot essentially here, and I can go towards both gates if I so choose. I think that I'm going to transform Yuan Bo, though I don't know. I do have really good range with my crossbows. I'm gonna have to deal with some Druki Dark Shards, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get the battle started. At the moment, I'm gonna just kind of deploy like this, and I've got my Long Marauders and Celestial crossbows. Those guys have some tremendous range right there, which is really good. I'm going to actually start the battle. I'm going to take these standard crossbows, move to the front of this forest where I still get a little bit of cover. And I should be outside the range of those dark shards. I'm going to go ahead and start working on those dark shards. Let's see, we got a Maw Shard here, which helps our spell mastery. And we do have a bombardment here that would be quite effective against these dark shards. So let's go ahead and call that in. I'm going to try and work through some of the dark shards on the wall. These are going to be one of the dangers here. So you can again see that by the way I've deployed here, I'm taking no tower fire. And I can use my range advantage to hit these dark shards from a distance. This should force them off the walls. Now, I could turn Yuan Bo into the dragon, and if I did so, it would make him a very large target for the crossbows. It would also make him a large target for the dread spears, which would then get a bonus. It would also give him some benefits, such as being able to terrorize and stuff like that, but I think I may actually already have terror from a different ability here. No, I could be wrong, though. I'm going to bring Yuan Bo up, though, in his human form and try and bust through the wall. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and move my crossbows up further because the AI abandoned their wall position. My crossbows might be able to use their high arc of fire to go ahead and start working over the top of the wall. And now that this is the case, I don't believe the AI has left any of their troops to guard this other gate over here. So I'll go check that by bringing my Jade Lion over to tear down the gates. And I've got my crowmen that I can use if necessary. Alright, I'm taking a look here. No one is under fire except for the Dread Spears at the moment. This means that it should be relatively safe for me to move my Sorceress up a little closer. I'm going to go ahead and move a few of my warriors in the direction of both sides. There is no one guarding this gate, so I can go ahead and move my warriors fully that direction. And at this point, it's just a matter of kind of weakening the enemy. We're in a pretty strong position here. There's not too much to worry about. That gate will come down, and when Yuan Bo gets through the gate, the enemies are not going to be glad to see him. And you'll understand at that point why I left him as a smaller target, because all those dark shards still back there. In fact, I think I'm going to take the opportunity to move up these crossbows just a little closer where some of those dark shards might come into range. I'm going to move up to here, and then let's take these swordsmen and go ahead and move them up towards the walls. Do like this. I've got my flyers. The flyers kind of move up this direction. Alright, so we should be good. I've got units moving to multiple locations. The gate should be open very shortly. Yuan Bo is patiently knocking on the gate, and his call was answered. So I'm now going to head on through the gate and try and catch the enemy in melee. I can actually see their Sorceress here, their Dark Sorceress Lord. And now I should be able to run these Jade Warriors up through the gates. Let's see whether there are any crossbows. I'm going to put ourselves onto defensive stance so my crossbows don't come chasing after a target. I'm going to try and dodge a lot of these infantry units and see if I can just go straight for... Ooh, we just dumpstered that crossbow unit. I'm trying to dodge these infantry units and go for their Supreme Sorceress. It's not exactly been super easy. Yeah, look at that Spell Mastery. I can drop this too. It's going to increase that Spell Mastery. There we go. We actually did catch the Supreme Sorceress. And he is going to give her a massive beatdown. And then that has also cleared the gates for my units to get through here. Those other crossbows are just slightly out of range at the moment. I'm going to use this special ability. Oh, that's the execution. My bad. I used it too early. But it did cause tremendous damage where I should be able to get up here and just finish him off. She wasn't under 20%. But there we go. I shattered the enemy lord. So that's all we really needed to accomplish. I think at this point, I don't know, I'll go ahead and leave Yuan Bo in his human form there. It should be alright. Okay, we captured a gatehouse. Our Jade Lion is through the gates on this side, so let's start moving in. And I'm going to come up here and start capturing points with the Jade Lion and bring my warriors through the gates there too. So we are in good shape. We are in good shape. Let's move in our Sorceress. Let's bring our Flyers and War Drum into play as well. There's a lot of crossbows we're going to have to be careful of with our Flyers. I see some, though, that we can just go ahead and move to kill. I'm going to go ahead and make that move. Bring up the rest of our Jade Warriors. Look at Yuan Bo over here. Just tanking infantry units. Our crossbows are killing our own men over here, so let's go ahead and move them through the gate while we have the opportunity. We're getting a lot of friendly fire over here. I'm going to turn off that formation attack. You can see my guys are kind of staying a little bit too blocky over here, so if you're trying to clog up a street, that's not a bad way to go, but that is not what I'm attempting to do. Ooh, there's a shade unit here. I'm going to try and get on top of that with Yuan Bo. Okay, I'm going to actually turn Fire at Will off here for a moment. Alright, Jade Warriors can now get in here safely. Our flyers have reached their targets further back into the settlement. There's some towers harassing us, but we're about to get a chain route anyway, so this battle is pretty much over. There's really nothing else here to be concerned about. Got all my units moving in. Yeah, I would imagine we're going to see army losses here any moment. It should have already been army losses, but AI is kind of getting the benefit of the doubt at the moment, but that's okay. They need it. I don't so much need it. The war drum up. There we go. So that's the end of it. They've lost all of their facilities and lost the settlement. So Great Turtle Isles, be in my control. That'll be a good capture for it. It's going to have a port, which will help us with further trade and income and growth. So the settlement will not only be useful for our victory conditions, it should be pretty useful altogether. I'm going to actually tear this building down. Since we're in a slightly unpleasant climate here, it's going to slow down growth and replen fairly significantly. I actually think this penalty is fine in terms of control. I just think that, and honestly the construction cost, but the income from buildings penalty, the casualty replen rate, and the construction time for settlement buildings is a little bit absurd. I could handle the construction time, but the casualty replen rate is a little too extreme, like it impacts it too much in my opinion. And it's really, really bad when it's red. Pretty irritating, but it is what it is. The Chamber of Visions was already taken by Wolfheart here. I'm not actually super happy about that. I was wanting to take this entire province for myself, so I'm a little bit irritated at him for grabbing it. Now, I might be able to... I don't know if I can trade Spectacuma. Spectacuma's under siege, by the way. And it doesn't look like they can actually win said siege. So I'm going to kill those guys and get that unsiege. That'll give me a little bit of income back. And I was putting a couple units here just to make sure that we no longer get any rebellions there. We can go ahead and use this under unyielding. Okay. Let's go and take... Someone mentioned on the compass they wondered whether it still works after it's been pointed a certain direction for a while, and they're correct. And it's because you can see here that despite being pointed towards the desert, there's just really nothing going on there. I don't think... I think we need to change it every now and then, but I could be wrong, but I think it needs to be changed. So let's go ahead and maybe... Cathayan-owned regions, corruption... Income from all buildings, Cathayan-owned regions. Alright, let's go ahead and switch the direction over to Celestial Lake for a while and kind of see what happens, and then we'll point it back towards the desert later, because it does seem like maybe we didn't have as much impact from it as of recent on our garrison, so it may be that after so many turns it has to be changed, or else you just don't have the same impact. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll kind of do some testing here and find out. We do have a garrison north that hasn't been moved, but I don't intend to move that garrison army. It says we have some buildings that we can build. Hexodal would probably be a smart one to build. We have unassigned skill points. That's going to be Yuan Bo. We can pour that further into Quartermaster here and try and increase our income by decreasing the cost of his army. We've actually already had a fairly significant impact there. So that is good news. And then building upgrades available. I'm not going to spend any more on this turn. That building is very close to Nakai as well, which could end up being a big mistake in terms of investing there. Right, so during the turn end here, kind of an interesting thing. I'm not really sure why the Dread Fleet at strength rank 72 feels it necessary to declare war on Yuan Bo, who is at strength rank 1. He has no prayer, according to the power bar. So, an odd decision. He must just see my settlements over here as easy victims. I had started to recruit an army, not exactly in the region, but somewhat close, so I'll have to use that for defense. So I will call my allies to help, and then I might be able to give Mother Ostankia an opportunity to go hit them. We'll see whether we have enough influence there. And in the meantime, that huge horde of vampires did move forward, and Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, is in the vicinity. It's interesting here, though. Reinforce. Okay, yeah, this was that second army there. It says that we're going to lose rather massively. I think it depends on what they've got. Like, this army is really not a threat to me. This army is really not a threat to me if we kill off that black coach. This army's not really much of a threat to me. Again, the black coaches and their leaders are about the only thing here that is somewhat of a threat. If I just save my crossbow ammunition for them, I don't see this going well for the vampires. And hopefully I can make that come true here, so let us see. I'm going to throw this on one of my Jade Warriors, and then this flaming damage, I'll put that on one of my halberds. So let's see how the Iron Dragon composes himself in a first large battle here against the Caravan of Blue Roses. Alright, I'm going to begin my deployment, and I'm going to set up in this defensive choke point with my cannon in a safe position. The cannon should be able to hammer away at units such as like corpse carts and, you know, other large units that make for good cannon fodder. There's a bit of a weird... Like, I'm having difficulty deploying my units right here because of different stuff that blocks movement through here, but that's gonna be, in my opinion, to my advantage. Look at this, like, this hill is a complete mess. That's okay though, that should leave me some reinforcements in both positions. Try and make sure the AI can't really get around my flank. There really is no way for him to get over there. Alright, I wanted to take a look and see what magic I have available here. Unfortunately, we do not have any final transmutation. And the Iron Dragon, I'm looking at his stats, he's not bad. We do have the Searing Doom and the ability to overcast it. We do have Dragon's Breath with the Iron Dragon as well. The vampires are going to want all their reinforcements. They can only take 40 units at a time though, so I'm going to actually go ahead and just pull these back here. I don't think I'm going to transform just yet. I don't think I have a good reason to transform just yet. I'm going to defensive here. I have 1 second. Here comes my reinforcements. And I think what we're going to do now... I'm actually going to take these Jade Lancers. And I think I'm going to just, like, hide in the woods right here. And if the AI doesn't notice these units, I might be able to bring them to bear. So, you know, we've got another lion. And then leaders and a couple of guns. The guns will be handy for shooting up large targets, though the terrain here is gonna make that a little difficult. These guns have limited range, and the line of sight here is not gonna be great. So we'll see, but if there's like Cryptors or something, they should be able to hit it still over the top of the other infantry units, so we shall see. Got a second Dragon's Breath character and a second Searing Doom character. Excuse me. Alright. Had to get out and mow the lawn earlier, so inevitably I'm going to be doing some sneezing. Okay. We've got a lot of bound spells here, too, on our lions, so we'll have to remember these. We got the Redirects missiles. Unfortunately, that won't be helpful against the vampires. But it's a pretty funny spell. And used against others. Oh, look at that, though. Their lord doesn't have any support that I can see up there. I think I am going to go ahead and transform. We're going to go take a piece of this Master Necromancer. He will be quite susceptible to the dragon here. Let's go ahead and go get after him so we can kill him. Sooner the better. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward for a minute. The AI has got to bring in all its reinforcements. It can't maneuver itself out of a paper bag, and this rock is going to leave it confused and dazed. It does say that we should win. Like, I mean, they attacked me, so you want to look, they're already casting their magic back here. To see this? This is what I've talked about over the last few episodes with the AI and its behavior. It's casting Invocation into Heck before they're even getting into combat, just wasting their magic capabilities when they should, like when I'm in a defensive position, they should be looking to maximize damage magic. Look, they've even hurt their lord with overcasting already. So, huge mistakes here by the AI that could easily be reformed, I think, with some changes from CA that would make a big difference in the capabilities. Alright, so, and then like right here, they should have grounded this unit. these units can land, and they could have just landed right in the middle of the skeleton spear. So again, a decision here made by the AI because they're just too dumb to make the appropriate decision, which again should be able to be easily programmed. You know, like if you don't have the air supremacy, then land. You know, don't just sit there and take the beating courtesy of your opponent. I'm gonna move back here, and then let's take a look at our cannons. They are in range. I don't know exactly what they're firing at. Pretty good target there, those Graveguard. They killed a lot of them. I'm gonna actually... I don't like how those Cryptors are kind of moving across my formation. They're obviously trying to get to a flank. There is no real flank for them to gain over there, though. And I have these Iron Hail Gunners, so I'm not worried about cutting down the Cryptors in a hurry. Let's just find ourselves another good cannon target here. There's a Corpse Cart coming down with a Master Necromancer in it. It's not quite in range, but it will be an appropriate target once it gets in range. I'm just gonna let my cannon fire away for a moment. It's actually, let's go ahead and cease fire on it. I said I was gonna let it fire. I changed my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and transform and land. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna kill that Banshee. I've got magical damage that'll be very useful against that Banshee. I'm gonna start picking at those Cryptors with the balloon. And one of the Cryptors is headed this direction. I'm gonna move this here. Alright, don't waste your shots on the Banshees. I'm actually gonna save the ammo on these crossbows and pick it specifically. Alright, so I'm gonna get on top of the Banshee here. Let's save our magic. Make sure we wait for blobs. There we go, we took a good chunk out of the Banshee right there. Okay, here comes the enemy. I'm gonna put all my troops into a defensive stance here. Alright, we're no longer engaged with the Banshee, so I'm gonna just see if I can get the dragon away from all this. And then once the AI gets blobbed here, should leave us in good shape. Can our guns get a bead on those Cryptors? Let's see. And then our Jade Lion has magic attacks too, so right here is an appropriate target. I don't know how those guys got past my line over there. It's actually a little bit irritating. And then the enemy Banshee just came right through our lines as well. So we'll have to deal with that. If I have another Lion nearby, which I believe I do, let's bring that over to assist with the Banshee real quick. And then otherwise, I'm going to get on top of those units. Where did that... the Corpse Cart Necromancer got out of my line of sight. I'm not really 100% sure how these units got through our line over here, but they're paying a price. Let's go ahead and start using our magic. The enemy is very sufficiently blobbed, and I'm going to make them pay a dear price in terms of the magic that we wreak on them. I don't think there's any need for an overcast here. We also have bound spells we can put to use here. We are going to absolutely lay waste to the vampires with our magic. Oops, sorry. Do not want to... Okay, we got enemies coming up behind us. Let's get rid of them back here. They did take the time to outflank me, so that was an efficient move by the AI. Let's drop another bombardment right here. We have not killed the vampire leaders, which is why this fight is going to persist a little longer. But I'm going to cause such tremendous damage to their fodder that I would expect we are going to see an end to this fight rather quickly. I haven't even used my crossbows yet either, but there is a Corpse Cart out here. Let's go ahead and target that. And then I'm going to take my cannon and target it as well. Cannon is on defensive fire. Let's go ahead and keep working our way through our spellcasters and continue to wreak absolute havoc. This is just devastating to these low armor vampire units. Absolutely crushingly devastating. There we go. So their fodder is going to just get eaten alive here. And then we're killing their leaders out there. And then as we kill off all their fodder, they're going to continue to get reinforcements. But if we start just killing their leaders with their crossbows, the battle will end regardless. Let's bring these lions over here to help out a little. And then I'm going to bring Iron Dragon over here to get a little help here too. Just absolutely devastated the vampire chaff here with our magic. And that is appropriate. Let's go ahead and protect that lion. There's not a whole lot of targets left, to be honest, for my... I do have a black coach headed in. I will use my pack of lions here to attack the black coach. This lion, just kind of hold it in reserve here, but I've got multiple lions after the black coach. They should be able to hold it. We've crushed the rest of the reinforcements here. I'm going to let my crossbows continue to work on their leaders, and then as their reinforcements come, we'll just mow those down as well. But you can see that the vampire chaff did not possess any armor-piercing capabilities, which basically means that they come up against an armored wall and just do not have the capacity to breach it. That black coach is going to go down in a big hurry. So it's out, and then these Cryptors are going to go down. I'm just going to continue to kind of goon those units while I continue to pick at the enemy leaders over here. They're running around in circles because they don't want anything to do with my crossbows, and I don't blame them. There's a grave guard there that's hanging on a little longer. Here comes more reinforcements. The vampires had a tremendous amount of reinforcements, but I am really unconcerned with their reinforcements. Their leader is getting run out of town here. I'm gonna actually swap this unit and bring this one back into a defensive position here. So we're cutting down those Cryptors. Their leader's being pushed clear back out of range. Let's target these Cryptors right there. I do see some Cairn Wraiths coming. We'll make short work of them with our lions over here. Ooh, that beautiful sound of the Cathay cannons opening fire. Continue fire. Nice. Okay, so we took out another Cryptor. I'm going to back up a little closer to my lions in case I need to give some support. Looks like the enemy leaders desperately just charged through my lines in an attempt to make something happen, and then that one got a face full of Iron Hail Gunners, and this one is going to die prior to any of that happening. So the vampires are really struggling right now. They've got absolutely nothing. They are hopeless. They do have another leader coming in. They got more Cryptors coming in. I'm actually going to fall back and use my halberds to hold that Cryptor. I'm going to turn off formation attack and back up a little bit here. They're going to throw some extra units in that direction. Jumped on those Cairn Wraiths with a bunch of magic attacks, so they're about to be gone. Here comes a huge bunch of vampire reinforcements. And I see a corpse cart back here with a lodestone, which will be a perfect target for my cannon. Very slow moving, quite large. And Cairn Wraiths got some reinforcements, so I'm just going to fall back. Give my units a bit of a break. They've been fighting for a good long time now. Got a vampire lord that broke through over here. Let's see if we can get some aid over there. Bring Yuan Bo over. Should be able to down that vampire lord without too much problem. Do I have Plague of Rust? I do not, which is rather strange. Okay, here comes a black coach. I'm gonna kind of pounce on that with my lions here. Hopefully toss it around a little. Huh, look at this. The vampires are doing kind of some weird pull-through shenanigans over here. But every time they do, they step right in front of my iron hail gunners, which ends up being a huge mistake. That corpse cart with balefire just got trounced. There's another one headed down this way, but the vampires are starting to disintegrate. Their inability to carry their leadership really coming to bear here. They'll get some of their units back from the dead shall rise again, but it was nerfed, hopefully to a fairly significant degree. But there we go. We just held out against 7,000 vampires, so pretty epic defense. They don't really stand the chance. All right, well, I'm very happy with that result. Let's take a look at some of the stats here. Wow, all of our sorcerers got a ton of kills and a lot of damage dealt. Gold value wasn't a ton just because some of the units we were fighting weren't particularly valuable. But otherwise, I mean, still a very, very effective battle force. The vampires got absolutely trounced. I'm not necessarily worried about expanding out to their lands as long as I can hold them in check. That's all I really need to accomplish at the moment. And by winning big battles like that anyway, we'll gather a lot of experience and a lot of money. You can see our treasury there. Rite of Awakening, ambush foiled. Enemy killed in battle. Holy cow, the messages. Frostworm Skull. Tea-Master, Warhorse. Caravan completed. We picked up 5,100 gold off of that as well. Completed a mission. We got 1,500. Picked up the Frostworm Skull here. Wow, that was a spat of messages if I've ever seen one. Alright, so we're hurrying back here. Patchy needs to get back in and finish recruiting some units back into the fold here. We could use... Ooh, take that. It's an easy grab at the moment. Anything interesting I can grab from these guys quickly or easily? A cannon actually would be super helpful. That'll be just fine for Patchy's army for now, and we'll have it all done in one turn so that we can continue against our enemies here, which we very much need to do. Dragon Gate is ever improving. Turtle Gate's looking pretty stable, stabilizing. So we should be able to hold off any upcoming surges of Norskins looking to break through the Great Bastion. And Yuan Bo has control of the Great Turtle Isle. And there's obsidian trade that we can take advantage of. But before I do that, I think I'm actually going to put in a building here to help us benefit from growth. This one might be good because the construction cost is going to be more. And I'm going to actually sail Yuan Bo's army in a hurry over here to the Sentinels of Zeti and try and cut off Wolfheart and allow myself to go snag yet more settlements out of the hands of Rakarth, who is currently putting together some beast armies here, which should be pretty fun to fight. The Golden Ziggurat here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to throw some growth here. And then let's go take a look and see. Yeah, the Dread Fleet did sail straight towards us at Skeggy. I've got a decent presence at Skeggy. I don't know if it's enough to stop a full stack, so I'm going to need to begin marching that direction. So I'm going to head up towards Hexotl. I don't know if I have...
Greetings, stranger.
We do have military access with the New World colonies, so that will work out good. Okay, so I'll be able to cross through and get up to the New World colonies. Spectasuma is kind of stabilizing. We're not going to move that army. We're definitely going to have a lot of skill points to take care of down here. We got 3 on the Iron Dragon alone. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and drop those to sure aim, because that could be useful against, you know, upcoming giant hordes of vampires. Why did we not get skill points here? It seems like we should have. Oh, here it is. I was looking at the wrong character. My bad. So yeah, we took care of it on the Iron Dragon. 3 more skill. Let's get Plague of Rust, Evasion, Golden Hounds is not what I would have chosen first in this particular case, but that's okay. We'll leave it. I think that was something the AI had on there before I picked that character up. It's not the end of the world. Let's actually try and unlock some magic here on this character. Wall of Wind and Fire. Put one more there and there. So that lord will be capable of some massive infantry damage. Is there a reason why it won't let me click on that Caravan guy? Kind of weird. Not noticed that before. Metal Shifting, Plague Rust. Okay, I'm probably going to continue to hold position here. Again, like I said, I don't really have a big reason to go tearing off into vampire territory. I could, in the sense that Knobbly Gorge would be a little easier to hold, but then if the vampires walked around me up through ogre territory, that could be annoying and a little harder to respond to. So I think for now, I'll just continue to kind of hide in ambush here with these two armies and see what we can accomplish. It says we have building upgrades available. We do. Again, this one's really close to our croc enemy that needs to be dealt with, so that's not the one that I'm going to go after at the moment. We can upgrade at the swamps with this huge chunk of cash. We might as well do that. Belful Hills. Some people ask why I build so many defensive structures. It's because the enemy can pop up behind you. Beastmen, Skaven upwellings, rebellions, all that kind of stuff. So I usually build these defensive structures. It really does help slow down an enemy to a considerable degree whenever you're working on that. So I highly recommend it. There's some places where I haven't. So like Taizu here, for instance, I haven't. I could tear down one of these buildings and do that, but I'm going to leave that growth building there, for instance. I've got a lot of, or sorry, the control building, because I think we could use the extra control for now. So there's occasions where I won't deal with it, and there are occasions where I do put those buildings in. Let's go to Poha. This could be a good one to upgrade as well, so we can be a little stronger defensively speaking here, since we're at risk of being attacked by the Dread Fleet. It says we have another. Okay, here's our Caravan Master that we needed to put skill points on. We always go with Wayfinders first to reduce that ambush chance, so that we can keep our caravans alive. And then if I go look at the Ivory Road, we do have a caravan mission we can send. It does look like that caravan thing was still working, because now when I look at the amount of money that we gain from the caravan, it is significantly lower. So it does not look like we had to change the compass in order to do this. So, well, I don't know. It just went up quite a bit there. I'll give it a try here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and send this guy to the Ecstatic Legions. We can send a caravan to them. That seems rather strange. This one's the Disciples of the Maw, the Empire. I don't remember where I always sent these before. Let's go ahead and just send this to Altdorf. Dispatch. This caravan's going to be pretty potent. It'll be able to defend itself well. Let's go ahead and skip any outposts for this turn, and let's end our turn. Get some recruiting done, get some movement points back, get some buildings finished, and we'll head on to some more. I feel like, though, we're well on our way where we need to be. Oh, wow, it's going to give us a heroic victory here on the auto-resolve. I will take that gladly. The auto-resolve giveth, and the auto-resolve taketh away. When it giveth, you taketh. So there's you some deep thoughts on dealing with the auto-resolve. I don't know why it was so kind to me there. But... Sorry, I'm laughing. I can see the way that this worked out here. Helmengorst is like, hey, you know, about that 7,000 man invasion we just mounted, where we all died humiliatingly on the battlefield. You know, that was a mistake. I didn't really want them to do that. The commander wasn't really paying attention. It wasn't my orders. How about I just hand you this fat stack of cash and we get some peace? Whenever someone's begging for peace, it's because they need a beatdown, in my opinion. I'm not going to give it to them. I just don't feel like making peace with them. So that's hilarious, though. I love that. It's like, oh, hey, about that war we were fighting. You know, maybe we just didn't think that one through. Oh, I love it. Control +4. Let's do that. We lose a little bit of treasury, but we get some extra control, which could be useful. Oh, the Blessed Dread has been defeated. It looks like our ally got there, and Nakai is ready to give us a beatdown. I can make it back to the settlement just in front of him, though. We're not all the way replenished, but I feel like with the presence of Celestial Patchy, we can hold.
General of the Celestial Host.
We have a decent, like an appreciable garrison. It's not amazing, but it's appreciable.
Lord of Yin and Yang.
I'm going to make for the Jade Wind Mountain here at full speed. And then we'll be able to start pushing Nakai back. I'm still replenishing this army as well. So a little bit risky for me to be force marching like that. You never know what you'll run into there outside of the line of sight, but... Alright, here comes Yuan Bo. We're going to be able to attack Rekarth. Great Turtle Isle. Finish some building. Let's continue with growth. This province is probably going to be quite unhappy. There are buildings we can build to help tame that a little, but it's also partly because we are in the process of conquering it, and I guess that people don't typically take well to being conquered in such a way. Just to keep this army getting some skill points, I'm gonna like pop out here and just, I don't see any enemy armies in the vicinity.
I demand their death.
This could be risky, but I'm gonna go ahead and just raise this. It won't do much for us.
Wind shape.
And then I'll just, you know,
Fly
run
the
back
Emperor's flag.
to the gate. That'll at least, you know, take something away from them.
I must make
Maybe give me a little bit of experience points, you know, whatever benefit we can get, I will take at that point. Is this our... I was thinking there was a building we built for the compass at Wei Jin, but that's in the Realms of Chaos campaign, which is different. So there isn't one that we build. A Hexodal, Southern Sentinels, and Hexodal we just made an upgrade, so hopefully we'll be able to build that there soon, and then we have the Great Turtle Isles that eventually get upgraded. So we've got 2 of those buildings. So we need to head for the Star Tower and for the Southern Sentinels, and Yuan Bo is kind of on the way to the Southern Sentinels, so I feel we're headed basically the right direction there. That would be good right there. Let's go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end another turn here. Just go check and make sure there aren't any armies that I need to move.
In all things.
Move this one.
Stay mobile.
Small force of Dreadfleet did land.
Advance without heroics.
Moving them up. Iron Dragon has not moved. I could push down here again just because we can.
Master,
There's another giant vampire swarm down here,
I permit you to rest.
but it's not a particularly powerful one. I might come down here and just harass the vampires a little bit in their own territory.
I yearn to return
All right.
to my horde.
Let's go ahead and end one more turn here. On the turn in, Nakai attacks. You know what? I'll go ahead and squeeze this into this episode. It says we're going to lose. I don't think so. I got a lot of crossbows. So I don't really know where it's drawing up the chances here. I feel quite confident, in fact, that we're going to win. All right, let's begin the deployment. I'm going to take a look at the battlefield here and kind of determine, you know, where should I deploy that's going to give my cannons the best positioning. There's a little bit of choke pointing I could do here. Then my cannon kind of gets on an odd piece of ground. I could deploy my cannon up on top of the hill here, which would give it a pretty good line of sight and a pretty good range to operate from. Relatively uninterrupted. That could be a pretty good spot for the cannon. Let's leave it there. And then I'm going to set up a main battle line. Shade Wars. I'll actually leave them in formation and defensive stance. I'll take some of these troops that are a little bit battered, hold them back. I'll kind of just start setting up a main line here.
Jade crossbows.
Jade crossbows, defensive stance, and then I'll keep units in reserve, and then I will use spear units. There are going to be a number of horned ones on the battlefield that we'll need to keep an eye out for. I use the Dune Dragons on this most exposed flank over here because they'll be the most powerful. And then I'll kind of just maybe fill in these gaps like this. Yeah, we'll do like this. So that way I've got a really pretty solid turtle formation here. Let's get this general over here. Use our crowmen to plug up that back line. Right, Nakai should have to come to me. I've got all of my troops in place. We've got everything deployed. Should be good. I've got really good range on these crossbows too at 176. Yep, here comes Nakai. Let's pick an appropriate target. I would love to hit these horned ones. I don't know how easy they're going to be to hit, but I will attempt it. Ow. Okay, didn't know we were going to be getting hit with cheeky bombardment abilities from Nakai there. A turd. Okay, yeah, we hit the horned ones. We hit them pretty good too. I killed 6 entities. Yeah, right there, we just hit that dead terracotta sentinel. I was a little bit worried about that. Yeah, look at those horned ones headed straight towards me. AI is probably going to suicide charge their cavalry. That's generally speaking what they do. Holy crap, that bombardment sucks.
Repositioning.
Okay, our crossbows have opened fire. Yep, horned ones just YOLO'd straight into that. Buff my guys just a little bit here. Helm of Discord, those horned ones. And let's start picking. A Skink Priest is a pretty great looking target. Still on Croxigors. Alright, we're gonna get potentially overrun right here, and then I need to pull my cannon back. Actually, they are pulling away from that fight. Okay, there we go. Alright, Nakai came straight down the center. I'm a little bit bottled up right now on horned ones, but I took a good chunk out of them, and I'm now going to come back over here and go after Nakai. So I'm going to get Celestial Patchy away from this fight with those horned ones. Not surprising that the high mass Croxigor is kind of punching through that first line, despite it being a heavy line. I'm going to come fill those gaps in a little bit, and I'm going to come over here. We're going to head straight down into Nakai. Alright, we're still holding over here. Dune Dragons can help hold down this flank. We got rid of their Skink Priest. I'm going to take all these Crowmen, and I'm going to actually go attack that Stegodon. Celestial Patchy starting to make a little headway against Nakai there. I'm going to back these bows up. And let's just kind of keep an eye on things, make sure nothing's about to get behind me. Let's send these long spears in. Some reinforcements there, and then let's do some Curse the Midnight Wind here. Let's pull these crossbows back. Let's intercept these. They've got some horned ones trying to get around my lines over here. Let's pick a good target with my crossbows, like that Croxigor unit. And let's go ahead and start healing. Celestial Patchy's doing a good job cutting into big Croxy boss. And those horned ones, not going to last a whole lot longer. They're pulling through, just trying to get in there and do as much damage as they can. Doom Dragon's absolutely shutting down that flank. There goes a unit of Croxigors. That Stegodon's going to be tough to take down. It's very heavily armored. I don't know if my Crowmen can actually do it, but I hope they can. Alright, we got rid of some Croxies there. Let's get rid of more Croxigor units. I want to route the Croxigor units. Saurus Warrior is going to be pretty capable. Throw a few buffs down here. Man, Celestial Patchy is just kicking the ever-loving crap out of Nakai the Wanderer. I mean, this was not even close. He shredded him. Tore him a new lizard butthole right there. Wow. So there goes Nakai the Wanderer. He can wander on into the afterlife, apparently. And we're getting attacked back here by the Stegodon and some horned ones. It's not great. Let's see if I can get my units back up in the air. They're not going to survive that. I'm going to come down here and then use this ability to try and bust up this infantry blob. I do have the Dune Dragons there. They are holding quite masterfully. There we go. Kill off some of those spears. And that is going to rout Nakai's army. We did take some losses for sure, because there was some very tough units screaming towards us, but we dealt some tremendous damage to Nakai's army and to Nakai himself. So, big victory for us. I'm going to go ahead and talk through this loading screen and say thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to take a minute to hit the like button, go down and leave a comment. If you want to make sure you catch the next episode, you can subscribe if you want. Do all the YouTube things, click the bell for notification. Of course, because YouTube makes us do all these extra things, because like subscribing doesn't mean subscribe. The bell means subscribe. Kind of a weird deal. But yeah, all up to you. I wanted to see the stats on some of these units as we load out. I think our crossbows, obviously Patchy played a big role here. He got a lot of gold value, killing horned ones, killing Nakai, and then the Dune Dragons did very well there. Also, and then our crossbows racked up a lot of kills. We'll take the army replenishment, and we're going to turn Nakai back there. We're going to have to go after him on the next turn and finish him off, but we should get some pretty good replen on this turn-in that would allow us to kind of finish him off. And then we can start putting the push on his faction and get them out of our lands as well. We're going to enter the war on the side of our ally. I'm going to keep those allies. That is going to have Sharktooth attacking us at Hexlotl. They have scrap launchers. I believe this is a walled settlement, is it not? I'll have to fight this one and the next one and see if we can hold. I don't have a lot of anti-large here to hold against the ogres, but they don't have a lot of great stuff for going after the walls, other than the scrap launchers, which, again, I don't have a great answer to, but we'll see what we can do about that. So I will fight this one on the next episode. Hope you all enjoyed this. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3.